Alright guys, here we go with part 2, and going to get started with the Clone Wars veteran start. It's got a couple fighters, it's got a transport ship, so that would be at least a quicker start on developing our fleet or empire for you guys, so it doesn't take, it's not a very slow, long start. Now one thing too is this, in the first, in part ones, they the modder, I was saying developer and I meant developer of the mod. The developer of X3 Albion Prelude is Egosoft, and the modder, for Star Wars Reborn mod for X3 Albion Prelude, and I apologize if I mispronounce the name, but it's either Mikska or Mixka. It's Mikska. But definitely, by the way, he's been working on this mod for a couple years and adding to it and growing it. So engrossing, it pulls you into that Star Wars universe, but it's still an X3 game. It's a great, did a great job with it. So I definitely want to give him credit. And again, links at the bottom of the video. I strongly urge you to look into it if you haven't heard about this, and that's the whole point of this video, kind of show it off, the mod and the game itself. X3. So right now we started off with that Clone War vet start. Here's our property. Right now we got the Z95. That's what I'm in right now. By the way, here's some of my ships too. But the Z95, let me see if I can. There we go. If you notice, it's an X-wing without the X. Z95 is just a single wing. So it's not exactly an X-wing. It's its predecessor. Then there's that lat. Probably notice that from the Clone Wars prequel movies. This is the V19
Vanguard,
and there we go. The V19. I got 2 of those. I'm in the Z95 and got our transport to start off with here. Now the transport, or the lat, it has got 4,000 units of cargo space once I upgrade it. Right now it's 3,000. I'm going to have to upgrade it. You got to upgrade the cargo. Got to upgrade its steering. If you see here, its steering is not at its max. Got to upgrade its acceleration. It's about half what it is capable of doing. And its top speed. It's half of what it's capable of doing. And when you're traveling around these sectors in space, that is a big deal. So we're going to try to get those upgraded. Our ships, all of our ships, actually upgraded as quickly as possible. Now with the shield, it's got 325 megajoule shields already installed, and the max is 325. So the shields were good. Shields, we are good on our transport. However, if I go in here, so it's got particle accelerated cannons. At least it's got all the turret bays full. Alright, forgot I could see it right there. Now this thing is got 2 mains, 1 back turret. It can have the impulse or the particles on both. You can see that with what's highlighted here, the color coding. The front can also have a repair laser tractor beam, and it can also have one of the KX9s. Not the 10, but it can have a 9. That one's going to be a more powerful weapon to use, more has a lot more damage than the particle, and the particle is going to have more damage than the impulse. However, if you kind of see the color codes, impulse and particles are pretty similar. Once you go up to the KX9, that's a whole different level. It's a different type of gun. Also, one thing you have to be mindful of is the energy output of a ship, because you're unless you're firing missiles, something like that, with physical ammo or like a mass driver. Most of these guns they're energy guns, and so if your ship is not producing enough energy to support those more powerful guns, you won't have very many shots. So one miss can be a big deal if you're not hitting like every shot. So it's kind of a trade-off, and of course it depends on the ship that you've got with the energy output. So particle accelerators, they're not the best. I'm going to want to get those up to the 9s, but for right now, at least it's it's fully loaded with a medium level weapon, decent weapon. It's a transport anyway. I just need it to defend itself, to try to help get away. I can also get some drones loaded on there, and the AI is pretty good. Well, let me put it this way: the AI acts differently when you're in a sector versus when you're out of a sector. Um, when I go to the map here, this is the sector I'm in, and of course there's I don't know. I counted at one time. It's close to 100, if not more than 100, systems in the universe. But when you're physically in the same system as the ship, as the AI, it tends to act a little funny sometimes, takes longer, makes some weird turns. But if you're not in the same system and it's not actually rendering the models and everything, trying to make it happen with the physics and that limitation, it's just the numbers behind it's just the programming. So it works more efficiently when you're out of the system than when you're in the system. Yeah, so here's Void of Opportunity. That's where we're starting. Right now it is under the pirates. It is a pirate sector. That's why I couldn't remember exactly where it was. I'm usually not part of the pirates. I'm usually using them as fodder to gain ships some money. But security level, it's a border sector, that meaning that it's close to another race, another race's sector. And then planets and suns. Suns come into play when you're building complexes, and like cell energy factories, solar factories. That comes into play there, but not right now. That's definitely a later game. So that's the galaxy map. We got the sector map, and you can see here, this is where your sensors can see. And you can upgrade those sensors, and you can actually get your field of view pretty decent size to be able to cover at least most of the central parts of most sectors without having to move all around to see it. These are stations. You see a pirate base, and you also have ships here that we can see in our field of view. Blue is neutral. Red is enemies, and you can actually, if you go to global commands, you can change the actual relationship that so you manually change that. So if it's well, wonder why it's red. Pirates, I'm going to have as a foe. I want them to show up as red. As I kind of mentioned in the the intro part, the modder, developer of the modder, he kind of put the races together as far as the X3 universe and the Star Wars universe. And so the Alliance is like the Argon, Mon Calamari, that's the Boron race, if you're familiar with the X3 races. You got the corporate sector, that is the Talati profits. Profits. Border world, that is the split, I believe. I believe that's the split race. Pirates is pirates. Imperial is the Terrans. And then you got the Zan Consortium, which I believe is the split. Or the Paranid. One of those is the Paranid, and the other's a split between the border world and the Zon. Can't remember. But I'm going to definitely want pirates to be a foe, and I'm definitely going to want the Imperials to be a foe. So they show up red on my maps. Cool. Okay. Oops. Let me get back in my cockpit. So I'm in my fighter right now. It's pretty cool. You can use a space bar so I can control like more manually, or hit the space bar to get the cursor so I can select my menus. And even in this mode, I can hold down the left mouse button. If I hold it down, it'll move like it was in the other mode. Otherwise, it'll allow me to hit the menus. Instead of holding my mouse button down, you just switch modes and you're flying. If you see down here, this is my speed. I'm full speed right now, and I'm going to slow down to 0. The blue is my shields. Green is my health. This is the name of the ship I'm in. This is the name of the ship I've targeted. And you can see the distance from me. You can also see the speed of it. Here's the little mini map, which it helps with. You can also see the 3D of it. If you see where the X is, it's kind of like think of that as like the middle plane or the ecliptic, and you can see how far below or above you are from that plane to help with 3D. I really like the way they did that on this map. So it's still a mini map, but you can still use it 3D, which really helps you out. Here's our weapons. You can have different configurations. Like if I wanted to just have group 2 as just that one, and I switch over, the group 2 would be just that one. Or if there's none in a group, I can have all my guns off. That comes into play if you got different types of guns. Of course, that's kind of obvious, but also with the energy. I already mentioned about the energy. If you got powerful guns and you are chewing through your energy too fast, instead of having like maybe 4 going at the same time, you can only have you can switch it to have a configuration of 2, so it uses up less energy each shot. So that's the weapons configuration. The menus, they're kind of dry and in depth, and submenus and submenus and submenus, and I'll kind of go into those as we go along. But in general, you got your personal stats, your status, relationships, your money, your property, all that stuff. Your encyclopedia too. If you're new to this game, encyclopedia will really help you out, because you can go ahead and say, I want to look up a type of ship that's made by Mon Calamari, and this is a TS. Actually, I think only ones that you've seen will be in here, but it will keep that information. So once you just fly around, you'll end up filling this thing up. The TS, that's a transport type ship, but it will tell me.
Transporter ship.
It will tell me about the ship, but also it tells you where you can get it.
That can carry gray goods whilst moving gracefully.
Well, wait a second. That one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You can look here and it will tell you. Compatible missiles. Maybe I haven't discovered it yet. Those shipyards. So it's not on there. But the one thing I use the encyclopedia for is really if I'm trying to find something specific, like either equipment, guns, ammo, ships, a factory, whatever. Yeah, it only shows 1 known, 2 known, 6 known. So yeah, once I find them, that will save the information in the encyclopedia, and it makes finding specific things in this universe a lot easier. So right now I got to transport. Right now I want to make some money. I know I said part two is when the action is going to start, but this game is kind of in depth, and I want to make sure that people watching are kind of at least understand the basics and kind of know what you're looking at a little bit and what we're doing. Um, but going to have to make some money. Now with the X series, it's really, really in depth. One of the first things I usually do is explore sectors around the area, and depending on how much money I have, I also want to try. I've got 119,734. Um, you know what? Actually, forgot almost one of the most important things. I gotta change my name. I am going to be trying to think of one of the Clone Wars soldier names. What was the main guy? Began with an R, I think. I don't know. I'll put San Holo for now, anyways. I was trying to think of that main clone trooper's name that was in the Clone Wars show. I could swear it began with an R. If you guys can let me know, I'll change it. That's the guy I'm really thinking of. So, anyways, going back to the game. The game is really in depth, and one of the things that's in depth with is with the sectors. Right now, I've got my own sensors on my ships showing what's going on real time. But once I leave this sector, or my ships leave this sector, there won't be any sensors to show me what's going on. So if I'm not in the sector, I won't be able to see what's going on live. Like if there's pirates going, in the sector, if I can attack or what's going, anything. So you can get satellites, and you can place satellites in space, and they have a sensor range. There's the navigational satellite, which is a basic satellite. They're the cheaper ones. And then you get advanced satellites, which has a bigger range, but also it's got a different function where you can use this sector map and see how there's kind of icons representing the stations. Well, the advanced satellite will allow you to go into a mode. It's kind of like a black and white mode or shades of gray black mode, where you can actually see where the station is and the shape and everything. And that comes into play when you want to build complexes or your own factories and place them in 3D terms. It's not just 2D, but also your Z-axis. And that satellite allows you to get into that mode where you can place those exactly where you want them. And in my opinion, unless you don't care really where it's placed, which sometimes can be some weird things. Like even though on the 2D map it's looking like it's down here, it's really like on top of each other. So that more real life view is very important when you're placing stations, in my opinion. So instead of buying navigational satellites, I usually just go to advanced satellites, which I'll need to find where to buy some. And being in a pirate sector right now, I'm not going to land on that pirate base, even though, let's see here, I don't even have any relationships with the pirates yet. Here's my relationship status. And there's different names for different levels of status, and then there's a percentage. And the percentage is, it's always how close you are to the next higher level or positive level, not negative. So I'm halfway to the next positive level in relationship to with the Argon or the Alliance. Um, so the Mon Calamari, they know about me, I know about them, but I'm right at 0 as far as a trusted courier. And again, there's different levels. You can Google them. But the higher the level, the better ships that race will sell you. So kind of makes sense. I mean, if you're the Alliance and you've got some new recruit, you don't even know really if you can trust them or not. You're not going to give them Mon Calamari cruiser. You might start them off with a little A-wing or something. And then once that trust is built or the relationship's developed, then you can start buying bigger ships, more powerful weapons, which is really, really cool, and it makes this very important. Also, if you're trading, you want to keep these relationships positive. You kind of want to start off by at the beginning kind of thinking, who am I going to attack and who am I going to try to develop a positive relationship with? Because you want to be consistent with that, or your doors of opportunity will close quickly, and it makes the game much more difficult, especially trading. If you want to try to trade, which every time I play this, it's always about trading, because you can cheat and get scripts, and you can pop in ships and have big battles if you want. But really, the game itself is building that up, and the easier way to build it up is the more connections you have, more opportunities you have. So I usually always start off with the pirates, using them as someone I can attack and try to take over their ships. And in the case of the Star Wars mod, definitely the Empire, because again, I'm going to support the Alliance and the other races as well. But the pirates and the Imperials, I'm definitely they're going to be my enemies during this playthrough. Well, anyways, I was wanting to start some action with this, and I haven't done anything yet. So, first thing I want to do is actually try to get out of this pirate sector. I want to see what's
Gate PTNI headquarters.
Oh yeah, okay. I know exactly where I'm at now. Yeah, I'm gonna want everyone to go through there. So if you can see on here, the light green is the ship that I'm in. Dark green's my property that's in this sector, and I'm going to tell them to fly. You know what? Since I haven't even explored that sector yet, it's not even on my map, so I can't tell them to go there yet. So I'm just going to go there. One thing too with the options, controls, game. I think it's on here. Yes, SETA. SETA allows you to speed up time, and I want. Wait, no, that's controls. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Maybe gameplay. Yeah, SETA factor. I want to set this to 10, the fastest it can go. And you hit J to go SETA, and it speeds everything up. The one thing about this universe, it's this game, Ecosoft, they really developed a universe. It's pretty cool. So let me go over here and explore this sector so I can tell my other ships to come over here because it's a safe sector. It's got, I think it's got a shipyard and equipment dock. Shipyard, obviously, just like it sounds like, is where you can buy ships, repair ships. Uh, Equipment docks where you can um, not only buy equipment but also like your
Entering
software.
system PTNI
Software,
headquarters.
software is huge
Teladi Flight School.
for for the options that your ships can do, especially if you're commanding an AI ship. The options, it's all about the software you have installed. Um, I'm going to turn this down a little bit.
Command accepted. Command accepted. Command accepted. Command accepted.
Hopefully it's not too low. Hopefully it's not too low. Let's go up here a little bit.
Command accepted. Command accepted.
All right. Yeah. We'll try that. I'm going to autopilot here in the center. And oops. I think no. Ah, there it is. I can zoom in, zoom out. So I'm going to autopilot here in the center so I don't have to fly it. It won't crash on anything, hopefully. But as you see here, my sensor view and my actually, my field of view, what I can see that stuff, but it's not my sensor range yet. So that's one thing I really like about the realism about this, especially if you're in a new sector and you're trying to find a gate, a certain gate to go through, because of course if you can't find the gate, you can't go on to that next sector that you're trying to get to. Sometimes they're hidden behind asteroids, like this one's not, but in some sectors, more of the far off sectors, in Star Wars lingo you'll see outer rim sectors, that some of these sectors can be really, really, really big. Like you see here, okay, so it looks like this is 411 kilometers. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's what this map is showing. This area is representing 411 square kilometers. So that's a big area. Some of these can get huge, like really huge. And so anyways, you'll need to kind of remember the fact that, because it's easy just to use this and kind of fly around and whatever I see, but you really kind of need to look a little bit. See if I can. That's a big corporate headquarters. There's some corporations in the game. It's not a standard race like shipyard or equipment dock. Those are specific to corporations. This one is PTNI, I think. These are ships. I still haven't even seen it on my. All right. So now I've seen it. Yeah, it's NMMC headquarters. PTNI, that's the sector name. This is the actual corporation. It's military headquarters. I don't have the software. I don't have the scanner installed to see it. But that is what that baby can hold. That's a lot of turrets. Different types of missiles. But I would be able, depending on the scanner and technology I've got, I would be able to scan ships or stations like this one. I'm gonna try to. Woo! Uh-oh. Trying to fly with my head looking to the side. That doesn't work too well. But I just love this universe. You got the planet there with the atmosphere, the light effect. And I could crash into this thing right now. I want to try to play with fate. Try not to crash. Look at this, size and the scale. It's so cool that you can really fly, in between all this stuff. There's no limits. You know how some games, uh, you hit those walls, those invisible walls. But in this game, open is open, and I could just fly, just keep flying, out in the space if I wanted to. Now, one thing I do have to say about this mod is if big ships warp in, jump in, or come through a gate into the sector, it does freeze while it kind of loads. That's one thing though about this mod, but it really, I mean, it stops the immersion a little bit, but it's not game breaking. I mean, you just wait for it to load. It's fine. It doesn't happen all the time. Just depends on what's in the sector, what's coming in. But it really isn't that, it's not game breaking or anything. But if you do see it freeze like that, and usually there's kind of like a window within a window that happens, because it's trying to load. It's saying it's not responding, and then it loads and it's fine. So anyways, all right, I am going to call my other ships. I kind of want them to come here, and I'm going to tell it to. See here, I'm flipping it over the axis here. See that Y and Z? I'm flipping it so I can try to see three-dimensionally. I want to have them come in the center, but below everything, I think.
Command accepted.
Oh. Freezing again. As after I just said it doesn't happen very often. Orders, navigation. Need you to come out of that pirate sector. I'm gonna have you fly down here. And my transport. Definitely can't have you exposed and at risk. I'm gonna have you come.
Command accepted.
Up there. So if you see here, they're all trying to move to the position now. They're all going to move where I'm at. I'm actually going to stop here. Just flying randomly through space. My luck, even though it's probably a 0.0 to the millionth negative power 1 chance of hitting something actually in the vastness of this space, I probably will hit it, knowing my luck. So just chill here for a little bit. I am what I want to do is I want to try to find a location where advanced satellites are, And with my money situation, I could buy some advanced satellites. I think they're each like 20,000 though. So I won't be able to buy a whole lot, but I'll be able to buy a few to place in these surrounding sectors where I'm starting. And so I'm going to try to find that place, and I'll be back.